Hello and welcome to Kent Talks, a video series with interviews and discussions on Delaware politics and how politics affects the residents. My name is Jason Stewart. I'm the creator and host of Kent Talks, and in each video series we're going to have a guest and a topic for discussion. Today's guest is Mr. Ethan Lang, the principal creator and author of A Deal for Delaware, and today he's going to discuss more about the Deal for Delaware and how it can positively impact our residents in the great state of Delaware and right here in Kent County. Welcome and thank you for coming to the show. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you for being a part of the first series, and really excited to have you here today. If you can give me a little bit about your background, tell us where you came from, and lead into the Deal for Delaware and how you're here today.
Sure, I will. So I'm very happy to be here. My name is Ethan Lang, born and raised in Milford, Delaware. I went to Milford High School and all of Milford schools throughout my whole life. Very happy, had a great education there, had a wonderful time, a great family. I now attend Dartmouth College. I'm a junior, studying government philosophy and a minor in public policy.
Very nice.
And of course, my topic here today is the Deal for Delaware, which is a proposal that I created to really impact Delaware in a way that I don't think has been done in a very long time. I'm going to give you a quick history lesson, if I may, just to go to the origin of the Deal for Delaware. I got involved in Delaware politics when I was 16, working for a local state representative. And I realized that there was no grand strategy or legislative platform that really articulated my beliefs and where I think the state should be going. And so I went back to 1994, the Contract for America with Newt Gingrich. And I realized that that was the piece that was missing. A legislative proposal that said, if you elect me and the people who subscribe to this platform, this is what we will do for you. And I think that's what people really want to hear.
Sure.
People really want to hear, what are you going to do for me? It's not national issues. We don't need to get into national elections and stuff that's happening in California and New York.
Right.
Delawareans care about issues that affect Delawareans. And so I put together a platform called the Deal for Delaware that affects topics ranging from education to healthcare to the economy. The focus is on Delawareans and how it can best impact them.
Sure. So it almost sounds like a playbook. So if,
Yes.
if you and I are the voters and we say, hey, listen, I want to elect this up and coming person, I want them to give me a reason to vote for them, to back them, but I want to be able to read it. I want to be able to understand it and absorb it.
Exactly.
So the Deal for Delaware is kind of like a playbook where if you elect this person or this person's belief or this group, this is what they're going to be going for.
Exactly.
Fantastic. So I know you have a wide range of topics in the Deal for Delaware. Today in the series, we're only going to cover two major topics, education and one bonus topic, what I'll let Mr. Lang bring up right after that. But let's dive into Delaware education, what your Deal for Delaware really discusses with that, what's your plan, your site for that, and how following this plan can actually benefit the residents of Delaware.
Sure. So I'm not very far removed from Delaware education.
Sure.
I'm only a junior in college. It wasn't too long ago I was a student at Milford High School. I was the class president giving my graduating speech. It wasn't too long before that I was in middle school and elementary school. So I am very intimately aware with the education system. My dad is a current school board member and I served as a student representative on the Milford School Board. So I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to the education system. And I'll tell you right now, on most metrics, we're falling behind. Right now, the SAT, as of 2016, is the new state test. And they mandate it to every student. Now, the SAT is a college prep test.
Sure.
So right now, every student in Delaware, when they reach their junior year, takes the SAT. And if you look at our numbers, they're miserable. We're about 48% for English proficiency and about 28% proficiency in math.
That's unacceptable.
So we're falling behind on both metrics, and that equals out if you take out those who take the test just because they were mandated to. So we have a lot to do here. Our graduation rates they're rising. They're consistent, about 88% right now as of 2019, and that's good. The numbers haven't come in for COVID, so that is going to be difficult to take care of. But it's clear that our education system is leaving many children behind. And we really have to do something about that. I think the first thing we really need to do is make sure we can have diagnostics on our students There is no Delaware standardized state test. We have to be able to collect data on our students to determine if they're doing well or if they're not. And I think our testing battery is the first and foremost way we do that.
Sure.
Secondly, many Americans, about 26% of Americans, are the only ones who know anything about our civic background. Civics education in this country is falling behind considerably. And it's very disappointing. Obviously I have a great interest in government, civics, and history, but many of my classmates don't have that shared interest, and they're being left behind.
Sure.
I have classmates right now who could not tell me the 3 branches of government. It is crucial. All students must leave high school with a satisfactory background in civics. I think it's essential for our country. No functioning constitutional democracy can function well without strong civics education.
Well, it's interesting you say that as well, because, you know, I'm a little further removed from school than you. I'm a little bit older, but I'm not that far removed. And I can remember that, you know, civics wasn't a major push in school for even myself. And I went to one of the best school systems in the state of Delaware. And what I know and what I've found over the years of really diving myself into it is that politics touches every aspect of someone's life from birth to death. Every aspect. And that should really be considered, and it's not in our school systems. Of course, there's some courses, some teachers that you might find that will actually go into that and share their personal passion for that, but I don't believe it's as well explored as it should be.
No.
As it should be. So what are some of, if you have some other information in your Deal for Delaware, what are some of the things that legislators can get behind referencing education that you're comfortable sharing with us today?
There is one bill currently in the House, sponsored by State Rep. Charlie Postles, a parental rights bill. I think this is a crucial part of education that all Americans can get behind, and Delawareans in particular. The parents have a right to know. They are the first and foremost in determining their child's education.
Absolutely.
The parents are foundational. It all starts at the home. What's going on at school is one part, but arguably the more important piece is what the parents are doing at home.
Yeah.
If you don't have a comfortable home life, if your parents are not involved with your education, you're only going to get so much out of it when you go to school. So parents need to know what's going on in their schools, they need to stay involved in their schools, and they need to have a say in what happens in public schools.
Absolutely. No, that's fantastic. I mean, if you remove the parents from the child during their school years, I mean, obviously they're there 7 hours a day. They're spending most of their time with their teachers, with their school, the children, the other children in the classrooms that they're with, what they're learning. The parents should be one of the top influences on what is being learned in our classrooms up and down the state. Obviously, we know education is the key to success, the key to opportunity. And if it's failing in the state of Delaware, why are we not changing it? What can we do to do better? And I think your Deal for Delaware spells out a number of things that can help with that.
I'm glad you mentioned opportunity, because that's very important to me. You know, not all of my friends went to college. College is not for everyone.
Sure.
You know, I go to an Ivy League institution. I have many friends right now who go to community college. And I think school should be for everyone. You should be able to determine, you should be able to go, graduate from high school, and do what you want to do, pursue your dream. And not everyone's dream is higher education, and I support that 100%.
Absolutely.
And so I think our school system needs to be accommodating to all those. There needs to be diverse training. We need to reform our insurance laws so that you can get an apprenticeship at age 16.
Absolutely.
I think there is no reason why a high schooler cannot be trained on the job, and as soon as they graduate, go right into a trade, whether that be as an electrician, a plumber, a mechanic. I think that it's a very simple change, and it's one that should be pursued.
Absolutely. There are many pathways and avenues to opportunity and success in our great state of Delaware, and of course, you know, college is one, vocational education is another, on-the-job training. There are many pathways, and if we are not developing and delivering those opportunities, we are absolutely selling our residents short. So I love that, and I think we can dive a little more into that as well. But I want to transition to another one of your topics that actually deals directly with opportunity and money in your pocket, which Obviously, based on what's going on nationally, we are feeling it right here in the state of Delaware every single day when we go by the gas station, when we go buy a loaf of bread. We are looking at these prices that continually rise, and we need to see how we can combat that, not only taking care of inflation, but how can we receive, keep, and utilize the money in our pocket that we fought and worked for so hard. So, another topic in your Deal for Delaware, which I'm particularly excited about, and it's very innovative and revolutionary. I don't think they're doing that in this state. I know they're not doing it in this state currently. I don't know how many other states are doing it, but tell me about this topic.
I don't believe this has actually been tried in any state in the Union. And I don't know if you've read Alexis de Tocqueville, but Alexis de Tocqueville famously says the states are the laboratories of democracy. The great thing about federalism is you can try something in one state and see if it succeeds, and if it does, it can be applied nationwide. So I have an idea that I'd like to try in Delaware that I think can really help families who are struggling right now.
Sure.
Currently, there are about 13 million Americans, it's roughly about, I believe, 8.3% of the workforce, that have to work 2 jobs to stay afloat.
Absolutely.
About 8.8% of those, you're more likely to be a woman if you're working 2 jobs. Many single mothers currently work 2 jobs to support their families. I see no reason why we should tax both of those jobs to the fullest. I believe right now in the state of Delaware, we can have a novel policy that says your primary source of income, sure, the state of Delaware gets their fill.
Sure.
But that second job, or it's about 6.9% of Americans who work more than 2 jobs, they have to work many more. Those extra jobs are not taxed by the state of Delaware.
So let me get this straight. So what you're saying, and what the deal is proposing, is that if I myself, I have a primary job, let's say I'm trying to catch up on bills, clear some college debt, or I'm falling on rough times and just want to support my family, if I have a second or third job, then the state will not tax those particular sources of income, which allows me to keep more money in my pocket so I can fight and actually just make sure I'm able to take care of my family in a more acceptable way. Is that pretty much what you're saying?
That's precisely the point. That's precisely the argument I'm making. I'm saying the state of Delaware should not tax second, third, fourth incomes.
Right.
It's just unfair. Right now, most Americans who work more than 2 jobs, they're not seasonal employees. This is not a summer job that people take on. This is people's livelihood.
Sure.
This is a single mother making sure her kids can go to private school, where she can better herself. She can go to college. She can make sure her son has soccer after school, or her daughter can go to dance practice.
Sure.
This is people's lives.
Yeah.
And I think that right now, real wage growth is stagnating. Inflation is about 8.6% as in May. Gas is roughly $5.
Right.
There is no reason why the state of Delaware needs to add another burden on people and increase their struggle to survive.
And from what I understand, currently Delaware is at a surplus.
Yes, it is. That's surplus.
Right. And I remember that just recently, the state of Delaware issued I believe they called it a gas tax, please correct me if I'm wrong on that, which is roughly $300 a person or per working individual. So instead of doing a program like that, which is a one-time take this, hopefully it offsets 1 or 2 gas tanks, which is still very important. If the Delaware actually adopted this type of mindset, and instead of giving away that $300 check with the surplus, instead of that, they actually followed this, did not tax the second and third jobs, so those people who need it the most, they would actually be impacted in a positive way, much better for much longer.
Yes.
Yeah, so it would be absolutely...
It would be predictable, it would be easily measurable. I do not believe that the losses that we would see in revenue would be significant. They would probably be barely noticed.
Sure.
I think this is something we should pursue. Obviously we should pursue, lower and middle class tax cuts, but this is an extra tax cut that I think people can really benefit from.
Wow.
This goes directly to the people that need it most.
Well, that's wonderful. This and more is included in Mr. Lang's Deal for Delaware, and he will absolutely be a guest back on our video series in the future. We'll love to dive into a couple more of those topics. Before we wrap this up, your deal has been impactful thus far. Can you talk very briefly about those who may be supporting that in legislation? Do you have legislators looking at this? Do you have
Yes.
legislators following this and something that they're actually acting upon?
Yes, I do. I was actually just at Lake Hall yesterday, talking to many of the legislators. They're excited about this. This is not an abstract policy that a young college student created and says, I want to change the world. This is happening right now, folks. There are bills right now that are being pushed forward that are from the Deal For Delaware.
That's fantastic.
Every member of the House caucus has a copy of this.
Yeah, the Republican House Caucus.
Yes.
So this shows, as you'll see moving forward, this video series is nonpartisan. This is to talk to and reach everyone. I will be interviewing those on the right, left, and unaffiliated. But this particular bill, this Deal For Delaware, is a Republican-based deal. And in the House and the Senate right now, and the Delaware legislators, we have our Republican leaders following this young man, following these words, and looking for ways to implement this to help the people of Delaware. That is a cold hard fact, and I think it is something that we should take very strong notice of as well. I appreciate you very much, sir. Thank you so much for coming on to our first of the series. I look forward to talking to you in the future again and many more times. Great luck, and thank you so much for your work for the Deal For Delaware. And did you have anything else that you wanted to add on the deal?
I just want to say thank you, Mr. Stewart, for the opportunity to speak. I love speaking about the Deal For Delaware because it shows young people have a voice, and young people are working for change.
Absolutely.
And young people, we have an effect. We have an impact on this country, this state. We care. You know, I'm not apathetic about the state of affairs. I want to affect change in this state, and I want to leave my mark. And I think this is a great way forward to really rally behind and say this is something we can do here and now that will affect our state for the better. So I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to be here and speak, and I hope to be here in the future and continue to speak about the deal.
Absolutely. This is a playbook that anyone can get behind.
I hope so.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate
Take care.
it.